What was something you thought was normal as a child, but later found out was completely weird to others? Having bare particle board floors and pounding the nails back in when they caught your foot. Getting actual food from the source. My parents climbed the socioeconomic ladder from my early childhood to the point I went to a solid college. Some college classmates were shocked and very judgmental when they learned I grew up on a healthy amount of self-harvested venison, duck, catfish, and a regular supply of chicken, eggs from neighbors. Living in a hoarder house. My childhood consisted of climbing over piles of newspapers and having multiple cats spraying everywhere. My dad was a superintendent for a commercial contractor and started his own residential general contractor firm when I was a kid. I spent a lot of time on sites. As a child, the world was explained to me as a construction site. There are roles, there are rules, and there are people who maintain different levels of respect for both roles and rules. At the end of the day, everything worth doing takes teamwork, competence, and an understanding of people. Virtually every lesson was framed in the context of a construction site. My dad had a construction site analogy for everything. It was what he knew. And it was his comfort zone to address things like bullying, cliques, risk, changing friendships, and whatever else. It wasn't really until I got to college that I understood how unique that experience was and how immensely talented my dad was at communicating. Even though he liked to hide behind a "I'm just a construction worker" shell. What do you think about that 10-year-old that was raped in Ohio and had to go to Indiana for an abortion? I'm glad she was able to get an abortion and not die in childbirth as a child herself. Awful everything meets Noah get the boat. Sucks the 10-year-old to have been raped, but glad they still had a chance at abortion. The Supreme Court needs to be disbanded and started again from scratch. The conservative justices are out of touch with the majority of Americans and deserve jail time for lying about their intentions during their confirmation hearings. What is an insult someone told you that you actually took as a compliment? A transphobic person once forgot that there are other ways to be trans than just trans women? Anyway, they sent me a private message saying that I never was and never would be a woman. And no matter what I called myself, I didn't belong with or around women. Like, yes, you get it. Thank you. Anytime someone from our conspiracy calls me stupid, their definition of stupid means you believe in science. You look like shit. Quote. You very average looking. Does religion belong in politics? Why or why not? Religion belongs in one person's own home. Should they choose that, and their place of worship and nowhere else? Yes. When making and enforcing policies to ensure religion stays out of politics. It doesn't. Religion is like a penis. It's fine if you have one and like it, and want to share it with like-minded others. But as others may disagree, don't force it on others. Don't wave it around in public or try to explain why yours is the best. And keep it away from children. It doesn't belong in politics nor in law because one's personal beliefs should not be a reflection of the mass. Our government bodies should serve the better interest of both the nation and the people. And not everyone shares the same beliefs. What would be your reaction if it was revealed that we are living in a simulation? Well, I guess that explains a few things. I hope you had fun. I didn't. Reboot it. Try and find how to open console. If your job told you that you could work as many hours as you wanted and acquire as much overtime as you'd like, how many hours would you work a week? Why not more or less? This funny cuss, I have been working since 9 a.m. and I will end probably at 1 a.m. I like my job, but I would only work for as much as I need to pay my bills. 40h same as now. Because I have no need to work more. though I can already do it like you described. My job already does this, but I only really want to work 24 hours a week. What are your top 5 favorite fast food restaurants? In and Out the Habit, Uncle Remus, Jimmy's Gyms, Burger Kong. My houses. Five Guys, Jack in a Box, and N-Out, Wendy's, Shake Shack. EFL teachers, acquaintances thereof. What is the best misunderstood use of English you've heard? I had at least 2 or 3 students who, semi-regularly, would say, breast duck, instead of breakfast. I work in tech and I love getting emails from my overseas counterparts that say, "Dear, kindly do the needful." Using costumer for customer and saying biscuit for biscuit instead of biscuit. Honorable mention. Asking for advices. The funniest mistakes are usually false friend word mistakes. When there is a word in one language that is the same or close to the word in another, but they have very different meanings. For instance, a Spanish Catalan speaker was talking to me about how someone else was very susceptible. I knew what he meant but couldn't help but tease and say, "Susceptible to what? Infectious disease?" Quote, in Spanish, susceptible means sensitive, but in the sense of someone who takes things too seriously or is easily riled up. How often are you truly happy? Almost all of the time, 'cause why waste time on being sad when you can make fun? I'll say 5 to 10 times a week. Haven't been truly happy in the past 2 months. Not a single time from the heart of my bottom have I been truly happy in that time at least. When I feel useful. What are you still salty about? One time I was riding a razor scooter in my grandma's basement and broke the condensate pipe on her furnace. No one had any possible way of knowing it was me, and yet my dad immediately blamed me. He was right, of course. But he couldn't show his work, so it doesn't count. Asshole. After 3+ years, I am still bitter about Game of Thrones. The final 2 seasons just pied off most things from the previous ones. Implied teleportation, abandoned plots, both overall and for characters, rushed pacing, etc. Overall it was just shit. One of the most watched, talked about, pirated and loved series, ending up as a wet fart after a big night out, even as most of the world has been in lockdown for a large portion of the last 2 years or so. Very few have revisited or started it. D and Amp. D. You made some great TV, but you royally ducked it up. All of the phones getting rid of the headphone jack. That I just turned 29 yesterday. I'm an old bitch, JK. What vegetable, fruit do you hate, love that everyone else seems to have the opposite opinion on? The thing I hate, avocado. It's just a fruit alternative to mayonnaise without the things that make mayonnaise good. I'd rather have nothing than try to sub mayo with avocado. It's a substance substitute for mayo. But it and guacamole are extremely overrated emo. When I go for Mexican, I get pico de gallo and salsa as dips instead. I absolutely hate bananas. I hate the consistency and just overall how it tastes. Spinach is top tier though. I hate apples and Amp. They seem to be extremely popular with people. I hate sweet corn. Whoever thought it's good in tuna with mayo needs to be shot. People in long-term relationships. Is your phone lock screen? Why or why not? No. Is Sonic giving birth? No. We've been together for 9 years. We live together and are married. I see him every day. I had him as my lock screen background when we were long distance. Yes, it's a constant reminder of what I'm living for. No. I don't have a good answer. I change my lock screen every once in a while and don't really think much about it. It was my gym logo for a while. It's now a picture of Superman and Wonder Woman, which is supposed to represent us. So I guess that's good. The twins of Reddit. How do you make your birthday feel special for you as an individual? I'm a twin and my birthday is also on Christmas Day, thus further diluting the quality of my presents. I look forward to reading answers to this op. Honestly, at this point in my life I don't. My twin is one of my favorite people and I think it's the coolest that we get to share a birthday. Being a twin is kind of like your closest friend being with you for every big event in your life. Guaranteed. When we were kids though, my parents were really intentional about us always having separate things that were our own. We're adults now and my mom to this day still makes 2 different birthday cakes for our 6-person family so we each can blow out our own candles. When I was younger my family always gave us the exact same gifts and made us dress the same. But now that we are adults we spend our birthdays sometimes apart. And sometimes just us two. It was really annoying that they made us dress the same growing up because we aren't identical. Twins lol. Following. Former racist of Reddit, what made you dump racism? I discovered that I could hate a hell of a lot more people by becoming xenophobic. I used to think that I could only be friends with white people. So whenever I saw a black person, I tended to try to stay away from them. One day, I got put in a group with a black person for a school project. He was really nice and funny so I accidentally became friends with him. And still am to this day. Now over half of my friend group is black. While I would not have called myself a racist, I was certainly prejudiced to some degree. Everything changed when I moved into a neighborhood where I was the minority. Having people be racist towards me was a hell of a wake-up call to be a better person. I was raised to believe black people were inferior in every way. I believed it for a lot of my childhood. Long story short, I made friends with a black person, and realized he was just a normal kid like me. I discovered I was being fed bullshit my entire life. We're still friends to this day. What do insanely rich people buy that poor people have no idea about? You don't really buy this. But family offices. You need to have an incredibly high Northwest to even think about these services. Funny. I know this guy who is the son of a man who sold his company to a large tech company for hundreds of millions. The son went to art school. Works for an associate of his father, lives in Manhattan. Dad pays for everything. He started a movie company recently. Dad dollar. Wrote a screenplay. Is filming a movie today. He's the producer and director. He invited me to drive a few hours to be an extra in a few scenes. I had to refuse because I need to work to pay for some unexpected bills. That's what money can do. Either give you options or make opportunities out of reach. Proxies. Time. For example, I own a boat. I work my ass off on it repairing, cleaning, storage, etc. If I were rich I would just pay to have all of that taken care of so that I just make a call in. The boat was ready to go anytime I wanted it. The rich spend their money on toys. But they also spend money buying the time to use those toys and to live their lives. What was your most expensive regrettable purchase? Lamborghini Jalpa 2.0. Disco Elysium. Mail order bride. Needed to replace rear caliper on my truck. I thought I had bought a set but couldn't find the old one I might have taken off or the new ones. Ordered a new set, about $200 for the pair. Got them in and right where I looked before there was the one I had ordered last year. Well, got another new set if I ever need them, I guess. What's your favorite type of rock? Rock lobster. Punk. Dwayne Johnson. The third rock from the sun. How do you feel about Elon Musk's dad having children with his stepdaughter? Do you support it or are you disgusted by it? Shades of Woody Allen marrying his adopted daughter. Meh, it's not my life. It's weird. I choose to not care. When did you realize you might not be the best person? serious, attention, serious, tag notice asterisk, asterisk, jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted. https www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/wiki/index#wiki_rule_6- in any comment, parent or child, parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit. Message compose to =r@AskReddit if you have any questions or concerns. When I was deep into mental illness, a few people didn't want to hang out with me anymore. It hurt a lot, but I knew I needed to get help. In high school, I've done my share of bad things and have my intolerances. Ultimately, I'd like to think I'm an okay to good person. But that's only because the good vastly outweighs the bad. Since high school I've lived a fairly seclusive life because I don't want anyone to fully know me. And I don't want to have to hold anything back. As a kid I got into trouble a lot for laughing at inappropriate moments. I can't help it. Misfortune is often unintentionally funny. Serious. What are some good tips for filing an employment application? Attention. Serious. Tag notice asterisk, asterisk, jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted. https www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/wiki/index#wiki_rule_6- in any comment, parent or child, parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit. Message compose to =r@AskReddit if you have any questions or concerns. Find a pen that works rolling on the floor laughing. Go online. But if you quit you probably won't get it. Be honest but play it up a bit. Like if you worked fast food worker, call it customer service, or if you worked on a garbage truck, put down sanitation specialist, etc. What interesting statistics do you know? If you would have started working at the beginning of the Neolithic Revolution, when agriculture was invented, earned the current median income of U.S. citizens in every year and have never spent $1, you would still not be a billionaire today. Residents of large cities, on average, spend 6 months of their lives waiting for the green light of a traffic light. While you were reading the lines above, about 12,000 lightning bolts flashed in the world, because about 200 sparkle every second. Dodge Ram 2500 drivers are 3 times more likely to get a DUI than the driver of any other vehicle in the U.S. What is the best one-liner piece of advice you've received? Choices make champions. Actions speak louder than words. Sorry is just a word. Stop being bad at being bad. Which song is impossible to listen to while in a bad mood? MJ, Bile Jean. Shiny Happy People, Rem. I'll Go First, Hip to Be Square, Huey Lewis and Amp, The News. That Pump It song. How do you feel about Elon Musk's dad having children with his stepdaughter? Do you support it or are you disgusted by it? Shades of Woody Allen marrying his adopted daughter. Meh, it's not my life. It's weird. I choose to not care. What do you think of the workers of the Great Resignation and anti-work? Good for them if they can afford to resign and find something better. I wish more people had the luxury of doing something like that. Quitting your job because you got a better offer, found a better work environment somewhere else, was always allowed. I commend people for doing it, but it's not exactly the rebellion against capitalism that a lot of them seem to think it is. I don't totally get it, but I did think the dog walker that they got on the news was pretty damn funny. ITT. People who think our anti-work is about quitting jobs and living on welfare. Very entertaining. What movie had the biggest plot twist to end? Glass. The twist is that it absolutely sucked and let down every character set up over the trilogy. The Usual Suspects. Not at the end, but the 90 degrees left turn during From Dusk Till Dawn. The Game. What was the first video game you played? Pong. Sheesh, I'm old. Cool Borders. Here we go. Oh Mummy. Plants vs. Zombies in Duck Life. What would a United States Civil War look like in today's current political climate? Geographically disorganized. Probably just a lot of fanatics from either team murdering each other. The most pathetic Twitter war ever seen. The Washington Post. https www.washingtonpost.com magazine, the 8th of March 2022. They are preparing war and expert civil wars discusses WH. Air political extremists are taking this country. Recently had an interview with someone studying this exact question. Short answer. Insurgency by breakaway militia-ish factions thinking they represent what the majority wants. If you look at the stuff that groups like Patriot Front and the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys are pushing, they're very aggressively trying to become these groups, and they very much see themselves as the front lines of a modern American conflict. A bunch of fat people running around and then dying of heart attacks after having to run an eighth of a mile loaded down with way too much tactical gear. What's worse and why? Eating fast food once a week or doing blow once a week? Blow, because that shit is addicting and will rot your brain. Gonna have to go out on a limb and say the hard drugs are probably a little worse for you than occasionally consuming excess calories. I suppose it depends on how much of each. Is it one line and or one burger? Or are you having 12 Big Macs or a Mount Tony Montana pile of blow? Moderation is key. Both are fine. Who's the most positive influence in your life right now? Definitely my So. She's sometimes the only one who can bring me back from a spiral of dark thoughts, and she constantly manages to lighten my mood and make me smile. Dolly Parton. Reddit. My mother.